The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello and welcome to this very informative webinar about Cisco CCIE certification, about their scope and career growth in 2016. I'm your host for the evening and my name is Vikas Kumar and I have a triple CCIE certification. I have done my CCIE in routing and switching, security and voice, and I'm the founder and MD of NettoBulls. I have more than 15 years of experience in networking industry. I've worked with the various companies such as Religare, CSS Corp, and IDS, where I have learned about various aspects of networking, like network designing, network implementation, network monitoring, network configuration, and network troubleshooting. And then we started with Network Bulls in year 2009. So it's been 6 years since we started Network Bulls, and it has been a wonderful journey till now. And I'm very proud to say that we have trained more than 11,000 students till now. And these students have come from various countries. They have come from more than 40 countries, and it's a great pleasure to train so many students and change the life of so many students. So I'm really privileged to do that. And we have one of the biggest pool of net Cisco and Microsoft trainers, and our labs are one of the world's largest IT training labs. The labs are full of network equipment such as routers, switches, firewalls, IPS, IP phones, and many other training servers for Microsoft. And not only the lab is huge in terms of racks. In fact, we have dedicated around 10,000 square feet area just for the lab. And moreover, the lab provides a great learning environment for the students. They can discuss it with the fellow students. They can learn it from the trainers. It's a great learning environment that we provide here at Network Bulls campus, and students are making full use of this lab. And as we mentioned, it's been a great journey till now for the last 6 years, and we have been recognized. The efforts have been recognized from time to time by various organizations, and we bagged one more award recently, where we got the award for most promising Cisco and Microsoft training company with the proven placement record in year 2015. So it's been a pleasure to receive this award on behalf of Netto Bulls, and it was a great moment for me. And as we mentioned, we recently turned six, so we just celebrated this sixth anniversary in December, and it was a great moment, and we celebrated it with a great enthusiasm. As you can see, most of the team members in Netto Bulls are really young, and they are very energetic and very passionate about Netto Bulls services. And Netwables is the official training partners for Cisco and Microsoft, which means that all the training that we provide here at Netwables are authorized by Cisco and Microsoft. Okay, let's talk about the agenda very quickly. So we will talk about CCIE as a career, why it is such a highly paid IT certification, what are the different Cisco certification tracks which are available, which are the world's most demanded CCI tracks available, such as routing and switching, security, collaboration, and data center. We'll talk about them one by one. And then we also offer some customized courses. We'll talk about that as well. And then finally, we'll wrap it up by going for Q&A round, where you can ask questions and I will be answering the questions one by one. Okay, CCIE as a career. Now, it is a fact that 99% of people have no idea that CCIE can be taken as a full-time serious career option, and there's a reason behind it. Although CCIE was launched by Cisco in way back in 1993, but then CCIE really became famous only after 2005. So it's been only 10 years since we have started listening about CCIE. Before that, not many people were aware of this. So which means that not many people even now have no idea that CCIE is a career certification, and you can go about it, you can pursue this. And moreover, people are more inclined towards the traditional career options such as doctors, engineers, and various level of government jobs. So even people who have the idea about CCIE, they might not be that sure that whether we should go for it or not. But to people who really have the idea that okay, CCIE is a serious career option, they are the one who grab the opportunity, and they make the most out of it because they were the early grabbers, or they were the one early adopters who went for CCIE, and they made their careers shine. Now, the fact is that CCI is one of the world's most prestigious and recognized certification. So your networking knowledge these days is judged by what level of certification you have in Cisco. So suppose you say I am a CCNA or CCNP certified person, so which means that you are carrying a good amount of knowledge with you. And when you say that you are a CCIE certification holder, which means you are expected to learn a lot, or you are expected to know a lot in networking. So which means CCNA, CCNP, and CCIE, these are different certification which sets the benchmark for the networking industry. And then the other reason that why CCIE is so famous and most prestigious is because there's a huge demand, there's a huge gap, I would say, in supply and demand. Right now the demand is more than uh, 4 5 lakh CCI certified engineers, whereas there are only 40,000 CCI certified engineers available throughout the world. So which means there's a huge gap, and people who have the CCI knowledge right now, or who are about to gain the CCI knowledge in the next 1 or 2 years, they are going to make a killing in the networking industry in the later on. Now, when you choose to do your CCIE, then the Cisco offers you 7 different tracks of CCI certification based on your knowledge, based on your experience and your interest. So we'll talk about all these tracks one by one. So the very first track which is offered by Cisco is CCI routing switching. In fact, this was the first CCIE which was launched by Cisco way back in 1993, and CCI routing switching is still one of the most famous and most pursued CCIE in their career. Now there are a few reasons why people go for routing switching, because one, you have easy availability of the resources, which means you can find training vendors, training providers, you can easily find the study material and study group also. So which makes it very easy to pursue this CCIE. And two, there is a huge demand. And why there is such a huge demand for CCI routing and switching engineer is that every company, every network, every technology is based on routing and switching. For example, if you want to set up a network security in your network, or you want to set up a data center or a service provider network, you should have a routing and switching network in place. You should have routing and switching infrastructure in place. Then only you can build upon that. So the CCI routing and switching always serves as the base of all other network technologies, and that's why the demand is always there, and it is always going to be there, because every company, every network has to start with routing and switching infrastructure only. So this is where most of the people start with their CCIE journey. But although it's not always the rule, some people go for CCI security or other CCIE as their first CCI, but normally people go for CCI routing and switching as their first CCIE. Now the next CCIE, which is my personal favorite, is CCI security. It's one of the best certification available in Cisco as of now, and I think, or I would say I'm sure, it is going to be the most famous even in the next 5 7 years, because it's a great combination of multiple technologies, and the demand is always there and always going to increase in future. And we will discuss more about CCI security in detail in the next slides. The third CCIE is CCIE voice. This is for people who have interest or who are passionate about learning about voice and collaboration technologies, learning about IP phones, call managers, and different technologies related to voice and collaboration. The demand is good, but not many people go for CCI voice and collaboration as fresher, because CCI voice, as compared to routing and switching and security, is a bit more difficult, and not many training providers are available to provide CCI voice training. So that's why not many people actually go for CCIE voice. Then you have fourth CCIE, which is CCI data center. Again, a huge demand, because the way that data centers are set up today, people who have good knowledge of CCI data center technologies are always in demand. But can you do it as a fresher? We'll talk about it later on in the next slides. Number 5, CCI wireless. Again, for people who have good experience, good working experience, they should go for CCI wireless. One, it is why? Because it's very difficult. Not everyone can understand the wireless technologies. And two, the demand is limited to developed countries. In the developing countries, the demand is not that much. So again, CCI wireless is not recommended for freshers. It's for people who are already working in the wireless technologies and people who are working in good environments. Then the sixth CCIE is CCIE service provider. People who wants to learn about advanced service provider network protocols like MPLS, BGP, they should go for CCIE service provider. And people who are willing to work in CCI service provider or service provider network, or people who are already working in service provider network, they are the one who normally go for CCI service provider. But this is again a CCIE which is not for fresher, which is not meant for freshers. Only experienced people go for the CCI service provider. And then you have your 7 and final CCIE, which is CCDE, Cisco Certified Design Expert. This is a CCIE for people who have great knowledge of multiple technologies like routing and switching, security, voice, data center, and which means that if you have design expertise with you, you can design very complex networks, huge networks. But again, you need to have at least 5 to 7 years of experience before you start thinking about doing CCDE. So these are the 7 tracks which Cisco offers that you can choose to pursue. Now, out of these 7 tracks, 4 of them are most demanded. As we mentioned earlier, also routing and switching, base of any CCIE or any network, security, very famous among freshers and experienced people. Collaboration, about it's all about voice technologies, and data center is about complex data center networks. So we'll discuss about all these 4 CCIEs in detail in the coming slides. Now the first CCIE, routing and switching, as we already mentioned, it is the base of any network. Now when you do your CCIE in routing and switching, you learn 4 things. So we start from network designing. So this is where you learn about, okay, so if your company has 200 users in your network, then okay, how to design the network, how to make sure which model of routers will be needed, how to make sure that we are using correct series of switches, how to cable them. So that all you will learn in design. Installation is this where you know that, okay, how to connect these networks, connect these devices together, which what layers will be used, I mean access layer, distribution, and core layer. Configuration means you learn about configuring the network, that okay, this is how you run your commands on routers and switches, and this is how you configure them. And manage means you learn how to make sure that the network is always up and running 24 by 7, and you can easily manage the device or the network once it is up and running. And then CCI routing switching also makes sure that you learn how to troubleshoot the complex and converged networks. Now, complex and converged network here means that this is a network which is a combination of multiple technologies or multiple devices such as routers, switches, different types of cabling, and different type of technologies like all kind of routing protocols, switching protocols, access list, NAT, and so many other technologies. So you learn all these things in depth when you go for your CCI routing and switching training or certification. Now, once you decide to do your CCI in routing and switching, then the path is very simple. So you start with the N plus, and then you go for CCNA, which is the associate level of certification. This is where you learn about how to configure the network, how what kind of routers are available, what are what is OSI model, what is IP addressing, how to configure the switches, how to configure the different routing and switching protocols. So you learn the basic stuff in CCNA. Then you move to CCNP, which is the professional level of routing and switching certification. And then finally you move to CCIE. This is where you learn the in-depth of all the routing and switching technologies, all the routing protocols. So it's a step-by-step journey. Starts with CCNA and end up with CCI routing and switching. And as we mentioned, throughout your CCI journey, two very important devices that you will learn about is routers and switches. You will learn about various models of routers, various models of switches, and how to configure them, what are the differences between them. And as we mentioned, you will learn about network designing, implementation, monitoring, and troubleshooting. Here means that one, you need to make sure that network is always up and running, so you keep on looking at the network that okay, it is up and running, and then if it is not, if there's a problem, then you know how to troubleshoot it. You know how to fix the problem. And once you are done with your CCIE routing and switching, then you will be eligible for various job roles such as network engineer, network senior network engineer, network administrator, IT manager. So it depends on what kind of experience you have with you. Are you a fresher or an experienced person, and how much knowledge you have gained through your CCIE training. Now the next one is CCIE security. This is a track which is my personal favorite, and there's a reason behind it. And the reason is that CCIE security is a combination of multiple technologies. So why I am saying this, this slide can explain it better. So we'll start with routing and switching, CCNA, which is always the base of any other CCIE or any other learning. Then you go for CCNP routing and switching. This is where you learn the next level of routing and switching, and then you start with your security, because routing and switching serves the base of security learning. So in security, you start with CCNA security. This is where you learn about various network type, network tags, various network security devices, firewalls, VPNs, and how to implement route security on routers and switches. Then you move to the next level, which is CCNP security, and then you finally move to CCI security. This is where you learn the in-depth of security. So this is why CCIE is such a great combination, because it's a combination of routing and switching and security technologies. And the demand is really high because CCI security is not a very old CCI. It's a new CCI, not very new, but it's not very old as well. So not many people still have CCI security certification with them. The demand as of now is somewhere near 1,50,000 security engineers, and currently there are only 6,000 CCI security engineers available. So there's a huge demand and supply gap, which is where CCI security engineer becomes very, very important. And the other reason of CCI security engineers in great demand is that the networks these days are under constant threat. Every attacker, every hacker is trying to gain the unauthorized access in the network. They are trying to steal the data, they are trying to compromise the network. So, and it puts a question mark on the availability of the services 24 by 7. So that's where it is so important to make sure that the network is always secure, always up, always running 24 cross 7. And just to make this sure, we have to have good security engineers in place. And the CCI security training will help you to achieve that kind of confidence and that kind of expertise that you can have to make sure the network is always up and running 24 by 7. So CCI security is one of the best certification around the world available as of now. And whether it is the freshers or the experience, everyone can go for this CCI security. Now you learn about various network security aspects, and you learn about network security, web security, cloud security, and then you learn how to configure security on various network devices such as routers, switches, firewalls, IPS, ARM port, and many other network security devices. So it's one of the best certification to have. And throughout your CCI security journey, you will learn about how to configure your routers and switches to act as security devices. Although they are routers and switches, their main job is to route the data and to switch the data. But at the same time, you can configure them to work as a security device also. So it can provide an additional layer of defense in your network. And then you learn about the most important network device in security, which is the ASA firewall. So a firewall is a great product when it comes to security. So every company these days must have a firewall in order to protect the network. So firewall is the primary layer of defense, the first layer of defense, and very important one. So every company has this firewall setup. Either it could be Cisco or it could be any other company like Checkpoint, Juniper, Palo Alto. But Cisco ASA is very famous, and the support from Cisco is awesome. So Cisco ASA is one of the most selling product from Cisco. Then you have IPS device, intrusion prevention, which is again a very important device when it comes to security. So it scans the data for all the layers, all the 7 layers. So it checks the data in depth, and again a very, very important device, sits on the edge of the network. So when Cisco talks about security, they do not talk about a single layer of defense, they will talk about multiple layers of defense. So you need to learn how to configure your routers as your security device, switches as your security device. Then you have your firewall, very important. And then how to configure your IPS, which is a security device again. And then you have your other appliance which is called WSA Web Security Appliance, which is also called Ironport. Ironport S170 is the series that we train on. So Web Security Appliance is a device which makes sure that we are able to filter our emails, we are able to filter the web traffic so that we permit only specific type of web traffic and we block everything else. And then we have Cisco ICE server, which is Identity Service Engine, which provides the profiling, and AAA, the authentication, authorization, and accounting. So it's again a very important device. So once you are done with your CCI security journey, you will be eligible for different job roles such as network security engineer, senior network security engineer, network security administrator, and so on. So it all depends on what experience you have. Are you a fresher, or how much knowledge you have throughout your CCI security training? So based upon that, you will get different job roles. And then the third CCI we talked about is CCIE collaboration, which is again, it's famous, but not many people go for CCI collaboration, because as compared to CCI security and routing and switching, it's a bit more difficult, I would say. And then not many training providers are available for CCI voice and collaboration training. So that's the reason not many people pursue CCI voice and collaboration. And the demand is not as much as routing and switching security engineer. So which means that when it comes to routing and switching and security, every company needs these engineers. When it comes to collaboration, maybe not every company is going to deploy the collaboration services. Yeah, the demand might go up in future, maybe in the next 5 7 years, but as of now, as compared to routing and switching and security, the demand is not really high. But anyhow, if you pursue to do your CCI in voice and collaboration, then you will learn about different voice and video architecture. You will learn how to set up these collaboration networks, unified networks, and you will learn how to send your voice and video data through the IT networks, I would say. So again, it is totally up to you if you want to go for this CCIE. And once you decide to go for your CCI collaboration, then the path is very simple. You'll need to go for CCNA routing and switching, which is always the base. And then you go for CCNA voice, CCNP voice, and finally you go for CCI collaboration. And then you will learn how to design, how to implement the complex collaboration and unified networks. You will learn how to configure different devices such as call manager, IP phones, and you will be eligible for different job roles such as Cisco VoIP engineer and Cisco call manager expert, depending on the experience that you have with you. And then the fourth and very famous CCI data center, again in huge demand, but very difficult, and not many training providers are available for this. And if you decided to do CCI data center, then you will learn about various aspects of data center devices, data center technologies. You will learn how to operate, how to troubleshoot, how to configure these complex data center networks. And the number of CCIE data center engineer worldwide is really low, so there is a huge demand available, but then it's very difficult as well. And then the path to CCI data center is you start from CCNA routing and switching, which is base of every CCIE or every other CCNA CCNP training. Then you go for CCNA data center, then you go for CCNP data center, and finally you go for CCI data center. So it's a step-by-step process that you need to go through, and you learn about how to design and configure your data center network, how to troubleshoot them, and then you learn about various data center devices such as MDS server, MDS switch, I would say, the Cisco Nexus switches, which are very, very famous in data centers. And then you will be eligible for various job roles in data center networking industry, depending upon how much experience you have. And then NetBulls offers many kind of customized courses. You can go for, if you are a fresher, you can go for CCI routing and switching integrated, which is a combination of course of CCNA routing and switching, CCNP routing and switching, CCI routing and switching. So this is where we start from the very basic and we end up with the very high level trainings. Again, you can go for CCI security integrated. This is again for freshers, people who are willing to go for CCI security as fresher. They will go for CCNA routing switching, CCNP routing switching, then CCNA security, NP security, and CCI security. So similarly, we have CCI collaboration, which is again a combination course of CCNA R&S, CCNA voice, CCNP voice, and CCI collaboration. And then we offer some other combo courses such as CCNA, CCNP routing and switching, CCNA and CCNA security, and many more other combination courses are available. You can go through our combination courses on our website also, which will give you more insight about these courses. That's all for this webinar. So we will move up to the Q&A round. So where you can ask your questions and I'll be answering the questions one by one. So you can raise your hand and I'll be answering the questions one by one. Isaac, you can go ahead.
I want to ask about one who does not have a background in CCNA already, and then I'm like looking forward to starting up. What is the best program to start up with in order to get to CCIE?
See, as a fresher, my recommendation is always either CCI routing and switching or CCI security, because one, CCI routing and switching and security is easier to do as compared to other CCIE. You don't need any experience to do the CCIE, and you have uh, easy availability of the resources as well, and you have more jobs available for CCI routing and switching and security engineers. So these are the two
Yeah,
tracks I always recommend to freshers.
because the CCNA routing and switching.
Now
Sir,
I'm talking about CCI routing and switching. So if you want to start with CCNA routing and switching, yes, you are welcome to go for that.
you were talking about CCIE, right?
Yes.
CCIE, not CCNA.
See, anyhow, if you want to go for CCI routing and switching or CCI security, you have to go through CCNA. So if you wish to choose CCNA initially, you can go for CCNA as well. So ultimately, you need to see that what is your goal. Do you want to go for CCI level training, or you want to stay up to CCNA level only? So based upon that, you need to take your decision.
I want to go up to CCIE level. That's why I'm asking what is the best approach to getting there without having to cause any form of delay?
So it depends. How much time do you have with you? How do you want to do it? Do you want to do it on your own, or you want to do it from some training provider like Network Bulls? Do you want to do it online by sitting at your home, or do you want to travel to Network Bulls campus here in India? So based on that factors, I can suggest you the right thing to do.
Okay, and I just made an inquiry about a possibility. I mean, a possibility of making available the financial implication of doing these programs
Mhm.
online, whether online or on campus in with Netbull network. I mean, Netbull's campus.
Mm-hmm.
No, I need a rundown, like the financial implication of doing this. I need to compare and contrast if the online will be best or if coming to the, because for me I think coming to the campus is best for me. But I equally want to know the financial implication of the both so that I can compare and contrast and see how my budget actually meets up with it.
See, I would not be able to comment on the financial part, that you need to get in touch with the sales part. But what I can do is I can tell you the pros and cons of online training and campus training.
All right, I would like to hear that. So,
Okay, fine. So when you talk about online training, let me talk about the pros first. So the first benefit is that you don't have to travel all the way to India, don't need to worry about the visa, the accommodation, and the fooding and all that. All you have to do is you have to log in at a certain point of time, and the trainer will also log in, and then uh, you will he will train you. You can ask your questions. Normally it is one to one training, although it can be a group training as well. And then you can have your own speed. So we provide online training in 4 hours a day model, so you can spend some time in doing your self study and all that. So these are all the benefits when you talk about online training. When on the flip side, the problem is that you do not have a peer group, a study group, and then you do not have the learning environment that Network Bulls campus provides you.
okay.
Now, when I talk about the Network Bulls campus study, then the pros are you get a great study environment here. The labs are
Okay.
huge. You can access n number of devices. The labs are available 24 by 7. You can learn from your peers. You can learn from your fellow students, from the trainers here. You can talk to them face to face. So you gain an insight of learning here, how different people are learning, what are their strategies. And it's a great learning environment here. Where you see people doing CCIE, you get motivated. When you see people doing studying here, maybe 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day. So it's a great learning environment here that we provide. So there is no comparison between online training and the classroom training. The classroom training is always going to be better. The only thing is online training saves you the additional cost of or hassles of fooding, accommodation, and traveling. So otherwise, in any case, classroom training is the best thing to do, I would say.
Okay. All right then. I think that will be all for now. I will contact your sales department, like you said, the marketing and sales department for the financial aspect of it.
Hmm. Right.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Caleb, Caleb, can you hear me? Faiz?
Yeah, hi Vikas. Then I wanted to know, I was inquiring about a CCNP collaboration online course, but I got feedback from your sales team that you are not providing any online for CCNP collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what I was looking for was a voice certification
Mm-hmm.
from basic to at least an professional level. But
Okay.
I don't have a vacation or a time to come to India to do that. So I had inquired, but on your website it shows that you all can do that. But when I inquired, the sales team came back saying that you all only provide CCNP router switch. So is that true, or can that be a possibility of having a CCNP collaboration online course?
Not really, actually, because there are so many things when it comes to CCNP collaboration training. You need to see the IP phone's behavior. You need to see the call manager behavior. So becomes difficult to simulate all that in a software. So that's why we prefer that when it comes to collaboration training, the candidate or the client must be here in campus so that he can see it very clearly, the behavior of the IP phones and the call manager.
Okay, understand. Because do you all have a refresher course? Actually, I'm already a CCNP router switch, but I want to do some refresher, uh, like not some, I would say an online course, but as a refresher, not a proper full course. Maybe instead of CCNP taking 60 hours, I just want something in 20 hours, 25 hours. Do you have some
Yes,
facilities that way?
yes, we have. The refresher course are always available. You can get in touch with the sales team for that. They'll help you.
Okay. And you all also arrange for demo classes, right?
Yes,
Just
yes,
to
the
see
demo
the
classes are
experience, how
available.
it is first.
For every course, it is available.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Okay. Ridwan,
Hi,
hello.
can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I would like to ask some questions about the starting level. I mean, the CCNA and the CCMP
Mm-hmm.
for the voice. I mean, for the routing and switching and for the security.
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, how much will I need to spend if I want to get to the CCNP security alone? No. And also, I would like to do it on NB campus. I think that would be better for me. So I need to know how much I'm going to spend and how long will it be for the two packages.
You want to go for CCNP security?
Yes.
Okay. So, for CCNP security, our first requirement and recommendation is you should be good at CCNA routing and switching and CCNA security.
Yeah, I know that. So if I want to go for the two, I'll start from CCNA routing and switching.
Yes.
So I should start from till I get to CCNP security. Like how much will I need to spend?
See, I'm not the right guy to talk about financial terms. It's better if you get in touch with the sales team for that. Uh,
Okay.
I would be more than happy to answer the technical queries rather than talking about the the money part or the fees part. Stanley?
Hello, okay. This is Stanley. I'm connecting from Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
I'm currently I've taken my CCNP routing exam. Hopefully this week I'll be writing the switching exam.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I want to ask a question concerning. Oh, last year I actually asked about the financials concerning the cost to write my CCIE and network goals. I think one of your salesperson, I responded to that, but then I wasn't ready about it. So, I want to know how lucrative and the amount of CCIE certified people in Africa here, because I know Nigeria is one of the developing countries, and there is still need for CCIE engineers right here. So I'm very passionate about this. I really want to go in for it. So I just got a job, so I'm gradually working towards that. Hopefully, before the end of June, I should be certified on my CCNP. So I've been studying on my own. It's not been easy getting the right equipment to work with and then do my labs. It's been very challenging.
So what exactly is your question?
My question is, how could a CCMP certified? How could we studying for CCMP and maybe CCI? How could we get to do the practical labs often? Since most of the gadgets, the routers and switches are a bit expensive, this like the GNS software doesn't provide the full switching capability. How could we be able to do some lab practicals and then improve ourselves?
Okay, so you want to do CCIE on your own.
No, 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 no. I'm doing CCMP on my own. Eventually, I'll be doing CCIE with network goals.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, how do we practice? I'm talking about the practical aspect on CCNP. How do we improve ourselves since we don't have the full lab kit?
Okay, I got your question. So there are two things you can do here. First of all, in GNS, yes, you are very right that you cannot do everything when it comes to switching. Routing, yes, you can do
Yes.
everything. But then there are few modules that you can add in a router and it becomes a layer 3 switch. So it is not
Yes,
completely a layer 3
I've done
switch.
that. I've done that, but there are some commands that are not functional.
Yes, yes. And the other way of doing it is there's a Cisco software which is called IOU, which we train here.
Sorry.
IOU. This is called a software which simulates all the routers and switches. So this is what we
Okay.
train here in NetObus when people come here for CCI routing and switching training, because all the troubleshooting tickets and all the simulations are done on that software only. So what we do is we set up that IOU software in your laptop so that you can practice even when you are here and you can practice once you're gone from here. So that's where you learn about how to practice the all the commands and concepts of routing and switching in CCIE.
All right. Thank you very much. About the financials, I don't know if you could get maybe any of your salesperson to brief us on that.
Yeah, you can get in touch with them. They will help you in the finance part.
All right. Thank you very much.
Rohit, Rohit, can you hear me? Chipika, hello, can you hear me? Chipuka? Himanshu?
Yeah, good afternoon, because I'm calling from Nigeria.
Yes, yes, please.
Actually, I'm working here,
Mm-hmm.
and I have completed my CCI written exam.
Okay, fine.
But I want to know how can Network Bulls help me for CCI lab exam?
Mm-hmm.
Because I am a full-time employee here,
Okay.
and how fruitful online training will be in case, or how long it will take in case if I'm doing the on-site training, if I'm coming to Delhi and
Okay, fine,
joining your
fine.
online
Okay.
class.
So you have both options. You can do your CCI routing and switching training online also, in campus also.
Not training. I'm talking
Lab,
about lab.
lab,
Uh,
lab also. Lab, we call it training only. So we call it
mhm.
CCI lab training.
Okay.
So which is normally 10 days boot camp that we provide here, 5 days and 10 days boot camp. So this
Okay.
is where initially, so if it's a 10 days boot camp, then it is divided in five days. So in the first 5 days, we teach about the technology, that all technology that is there in the CCI lab exam. For example,
Okay.
OSPF, EIGRP, BGP, MPLS, DMVPN.
Hmm.
So all technology, it's a brief of every technology that we cover in 5 days. It's an 8 hours a day
Okay.
training every day. So what we do is normally trainer is there to give a lecture for 6 7 hours, and then he will ask you to configure some practicals in the later part of the day,
Hmm.
maybe for the next 3 4 hours,
Okay.
just to test that okay which skills that you have, or which skills you need to work upon. Right. So
Okay.
every day for 5 days we have an agenda that okay, day one we will cover this, day two we will cover this, and so on. And then
Okay.
in the
So
next
you
5 days,
you mean you mean initial 5 days will be the overview for whole the course to memorize, not to memorize, I mean to refresh and
yes, yes, it's a refresher
how
course of technology.
prac okay,
Yes.
okay, okay,
And then in the next 5 days, it's all about lab training, where the trainer will show you that okay, this is how to do the lab, this is how to understand the questions,
mm-hmm,
this is how to understand the flow of the lab, and this is how to troubleshoot
mm-hmm,
the troubleshooting tickets and all that. And once he
okay,
shows you how to do it, then he will give you some mock labs that okay, now I'm acting as a proctor and you do the labs now. So that's where he
okay.
will judge
Within
your
5 days or after 5 days?
after 5 days, means first 5 days technology training,
Okay,
next 5 days initial 2 days
lab training.
he will show you how to do the labs, and next 3 days you will do the labs.
Okay,
So he will act as a
I mean
proctor. He will
independent.
check, yes, he will check your speed, that okay, he will say see where are you lacking, is there anything that he can help you out. So all that information he will give
Okay,
you, and so that he will judge you that how ready you are for the lab, and accordingly he will give you the comment that
okay,
okay, how soon you can go for the lab attempt.
okay. So this will be only 10 days training, right?
Yes, this will be 10 days training.
And is it possible online also?
For online, we do not provide 10 days training. For online, we provide 5 days training only, which is where
Okay.
it's a customized training where we do not cover all the technology training. So all we do is we say, okay, we have only 5 days to go. So you learn whatever you want to learn from trainer. So normally people do not go for technical training in that case because time is very short. So in that case, they go for the
Yeah.
lab training only. I mean, they skip the technical part. But my recommendation, if you ask me
Okay.
personally, I would say it is better if
Mhm.
you can take 10 days leave, come here, go for technology training, lab training.
No, I used to let me explain you a small. I used to come every 6 months. Like I'm planning this March
Hmm.
to come there, but it won't be possible this time. But next 6 months I can plan.
Hmm.
So that's why I was just guessing how many days it will take, and how much time is required per day, because I belong from Lucknow, then
Okay.
from Delhi it is far, so I have to
Mm-hmm.
come there and stay.
Yes, yes, yes.
So, okay, I was listening that commercial you will not discuss. So, can we get any mail ID or contact persons to whom we can share the commercial information?
Yes, you can connect with Emily, I believe. Her email ID is Emily, EMILY, @nb-emails.com.
Okay, okay,
Right?
okay, Vikas. Thanks.
All right. So, all right, guys, that's all from today's webinar. I have covered all the questions which were raised. So, thank you very much for to everyone to join this webinar, and we'll look forward for the next webinar very soon. Thank you very much.